Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And how are you, everyone? Hopefully you stay healthy in this pandemic, and then all of us can pass this such difficult time. Let me introduce myself. My name is Saiful. I'm a lecturer of Muhammadiyah University of Makassar, English Education Department, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education. I also want to introduce you all my colleague in this research. First is Dr. Reni Shatriana, SPD MPD, also from Muhammadiyah University of Makassar, the same faculty, and that English Education Department, the same with me. Also the third presenter, Firman SPD MPD, and then the last Dr. Rina Asri Bakri SPD MPD from STKIP YPUP Makassar. The title of my paper that will get published is The Perspective of Congenitive Students on Multilingual Learning. These papers consisted of 5 chapters, and then each chapter consists of some subchapters. They are introduction, method, findings, discussion, and conclusion. The first, I would like to explain about the introduction. Introduction here means the background of the research, why this research was conducted, and then the novelty insight, and also the importance of the research are already here in general problem. The first thing that I should explain is language extinction. Why language extinction? As we know that the Indonesian has rich of abundance of culture, abundance of religion, custom, traditions, as well as languages. And we should understand that actually language here is one thing that very important to the young generation as their identity in the future time. But unfortunately, seems like mostly of young generation right now still lack of confidence when they use in their own language, even it's their identity. That's why that some languages in the world right now stay in the risk extinction. Based on the one findings of a researcher, Ismalis is already quoted in the researcher past publication in one journal. He stated that in Indonesia right now is from the website of Ministry of Culture and Education, Department of Language, Department of Language. He stated that in Indonesia right now there are 19 languages stay in the risk of extinction. And this is also supported by another researcher from Saudi Sulawesi, Jumriyati 2018, stated that 2 other extinction languages are actually in South Sulawesi, and one of them is in Bulukumba region and state in Kajang district. They speak language what we call Konjo, and then according to her, Konjo right now is threatened for 6B. So if rarely used, this language will disappear in this world. So that's why the government actually already encounter and then try to cover this problem by spread out the rules of education number 2018, but seems like the effect of this regulation still weak, because cannot regulate the regional language as well. Therefore, the researcher here are endeavor and then interested try to avoid the regional or local language extinction conjure here by applying multilingual learning. As many as people actually researcher find out kinds of multilingual learning, but in different perspective, such as Bin Tahir 2015 and 2018 in applying multilingual learning in pesantren, and then many other researchers already tried. But in this special time of occasion for Konjo language extinction, I would try to I would try to expand until making the content of multilingual learning through research and development. But for this chance of publication, we'll just focus on multilingual learning perspective. And the next is some definition. First is multilingual learning at school. Multilingual learning at schools means students that can master more than 2 languages as well, such as they can master local language or mother tongue, and then regional language, and then national languages. And the importance of multilingual here, yes, of course, it's very important, because it is determined the future time of a students, the future time of a person, in where they bring the opportunity in using that language, and bring them some advantages, especially when they work in the field of social, economical, and then cultural background for sure. And then it will be a brightening future they will face if they can master many kinds of language, especially for ESP site. And then the perspective of multilingual here, we can conclude that is actually the sense of conviction or viewpoint that reflects something's approval or disapproval. Perspective is the propensity to react in certain ways to certain objects, persons, or circumstances, cognitively, emotionally, or behaviorally. So it's cover actually the multilingual perspective. Then research method here, the research design that we use quantitative approach using design survey in collecting the data in a specific point for main time in order to explain the existence of current conditions, or to define parameters in which situation can be observed, or to establish the correlation will occur in the real action. The population, actually we have 173 students at SMP Satap 5 Kajang as the research population, and then consisting of 59 single random samples, and we choose 21 samples. And we use Likert scale model questionnaire to gather the data, and then the data analyzed into 2 different ways: descriptively to explain what was found in the sentences, and then calculated as inferential statistic by using SPSS version 23. The findings here can be reported as a statistic descriptive of student perspective. By seeing this table, the mean score of students' perspective of multilingual learning at SMP Satap 5 Kajang is actually 27.12, and the highest score was 39, and then the lowest one is 20. And then the result of standard deviation, actually we can see it's 6 point blah blah blah, and then can be interpreted as a 54%, and then it could be concluded that the perspective of students on multilingual learning is approximately 20 to 39 approximately. distance. And then the perspective frequency by seeing this table 2, we can reveal the statistic that 50% of the students' view appear to be pessimistic, and then 30% neutral, and then 29% can 29% positive, and 14% also positive. The outcomes here also reveals that value is 0.000 is smallest than 0.05, which is used in this report. And this means that the age 0 has been denied or rejected, or we can conclude that there is an impact of the attitude of multilingual learning and SMP SATA 5 Kajang, in which that constant value is 1.122. It indicates that there is no improvement of the value cognitive perspective. And then what can be inferred about the findings? Actually, the perspective of the students on multilingual learning at SMP SATA 5 Kajang with a contribution value of 21% indicates that they have not yet made substantial contribution to enhancing the process of multilingual learning at schools. And then the lack of awareness, lack of confidence, lack of opportunity, and then stakeholders participation. And then the last is the students have a capacity to understand what has happened in the classroom education sector, which is still ruled by the state. This rule is just on the sidelines of the state or private school, government school, and for sure intimidate the system of educational school. So this way should be taken by the government. The implication is that the government should make or give the independent rules to every school in this country if they would better in applying multilingual learning. The implication is actually center of the description above. We found that the perspective of students on multilingual learning had an impact on school, but was not substantially influenced by the lack of vocabulary, grammar, practice in their daily life, in their daily activities, less of self-confidence, also burdens to government regulation. And therefore, we also suggest the school must be sensitive in navigating in their multilingual learning program. The government also should take their position as a regulation creator, must help the school education system in Indonesia and empower the nations of human being capital through multilingual learning. And then our acknowledgement is addressed to the research findings, funded research from Muhammadiyah University of Makassar, and also thanks addressed to a stakeholder of Junior High School Startup 5 Kajang, South Sulawesi, Indonesia. Thank you very much. We welcome your questions or suggestions with a constructive one. We will try to respond. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.